So, who drank more coffee today in hopes of making it better?
And see if the show reflects that. Welcome to our Worst of RIOT podcast.
All right, so today, the stuff we're talking about HBO Max and their Latin Korean pop competition show training extravaganza.
How it intersects with Mortal Kombat. So
It does. You'll see.
Absolutely.
We talk about what's going on at Disney World. Somebody, I'm not going to mention names, has a Game of Thrones problem. Let's see. I talk about my new Power Beats Pro.
Yeah, new headphones.
I did. I got some new headphones, and I'm loving them.
Well, spoiler. Come on now. You should have just left that as...
There's so many more details. That's just a headline.
Just feel like we should have had them be surprised. Like, does he like them or not?
And I get my new headphones.
What happened?
What did he think of them?
See, now they're more interested in continuing with the podcast.
She ain't lying. It's a better tease. Fight for Air Climb comes to visit us. We talk about some new reselling opportunities that Nintendo is making for us. Moldy Cake Pops, National Day of Prayer. Oh, man. And the Epic versus Apple lawsuit just it's getting juicier and juicier.
Now you can add Microsoft to that. And what details did they have to spill?
I love it so much. So that's all there. I hope that you guys enjoy the podcast today. Anything else you want to?
Thanks for listening and hopefully enjoying it. Text and say hi at 877 to RadioU. Put your podcast listener with your name.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
If you've ever asked yourself, just how bad can it get? We've got your answer right here. Worst of the Riot, RadioU.
How do you take your pop music? I only take it with K's. K-pop, it's kind of a big deal these days. BTS, Blackpink, people dig the K-pop. But Nikki, it is right now really rooted in a lot of ways. We say K-pop, but there's J-pop as well.
Sure.
It's kind of that Asian supergroup, personality-driven thing that they have going there. Well, HBO Max is working right now to bring that to the masses.
How does that work out?
Well, check this. So we'll still see it here on HBO Max in the United States, but they are working on a competition show in which a group of, I think they're individuals that will then be put together in a group.
Oh, it's one of those shows where they assemble a band or a group together from the winners.
Yeah, but check this. They go through, this is going to be in Latin America. So their idea is that all of these people come from Latin America. It'll be in Espanol. And they're all competing for a chance to go to Korea, where they will train to become the world's first K-pop Spanish speaking.
So that's HBO Max's competition thing they're doing?
You know what? I'm not that interested in it, but that's not bad.
Well, I think you're more interested in seeing the behind the scenes stuff on like putting something like that together.
Because if you think about it, that means think about how much of the world speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Think about how popular K-pop is. It's pretty popular. So you can sell this show internationally. You can get it in Asia. You can get it in Latin America. And you're going to have enough people in the United States and other English speaking parts of the world so to be interested. Man, Nikki, I think this is good programming.
No, you
I mean, to be clear, I have zero interest in it.
Well,
None.
But you can see it may be doing well.
None. This does remind me, I really need to cancel that HBO Max subscription.
I know that makes me think like, oh, okay, that's where the money's going to.
Crap, I need to hurry too because I kept it for Mortal Kombat. And I'll bet it's about to. I just have that feeling.
And did you watch Mortal Kombat too?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like more our style. Which in fact was a competition of a lot of people put together.
Nikki, it was.
So it's not far off.
It was a multinational competition.
It absolutely
was. Lots of different ethnic people groups and nations all assembled
represented
there to defend Earth against the whatever realm.
And think singing and fighting, not that much difference. You got to use that diaphragm.
Breathing's important.
Breathing's very important in fighting and singing competitions.
And they went off to train. So I mean,
man, now I can't look at Mortal Kombat the same.
It's really just a K-pop training competition. That's all it really is.
That's all we got, guys.
Didn't see that coming, and you know what? I'm glad.
It works really well, and that's sad.
I like the idea that somebody at HBO Max was watching Mortal Kombat and was like, I have the best idea right now.
We can do this. We got something else.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Okay, Nikki, it's a job.
Yeah.
It's 8 to 5.
Okay. So
Monday through Friday.
So pretty good hours.
Plus vacation time.
Okay.
Plus you get a car basically that you can use while you work there. And then you also get a house, essentially. Now, this will be in two different places. Naples.
Oh, okay, Naples, Florida.
And then the Bahamas.
Ooh.
And you'll travel back and forth, and your job will essentially be like housekeeping, family upkeep, doing some little, running some errands, whatever, for a family. They say that, like, they're not saying who it is. That must be somebody that you might recognize, I suppose.
So it's like you're not a nanny, but you're like an assistant or something?
Kinda. But you'll also do, like, I don't think of an assistant as somebody that would say clean the bathroom.
Well, then
you'll also be cleaning.
I think in that world, the assistant does anything.
Yeah. And in all of this, so you're living in Naples and the Bahamas. Yeah. Back and forth. $120,000 a year.
Well, that'll do. They're paying for privacy. So they're paying a little extra so you be quiet.
Well, and you think about it. I mean, it's $120,000 a year and all of your expenses are basically covered.
That's the nice part. I do have a feeling, the 8 to 5 probably gets really blurred a lot of times. Yeah, if you're traveling back and forth and, you're doing this, you're doing that. You must be pretty flexible. But for that amount, definitely be flexible.
Well, and the thing is, though, like, yeah, that's okay. This flexibility that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Under the right people, that you could absolutely have a spectacular time. Or this could be the nightmare you can't wake up from.
It's almost like you'd have to meet the people and really mesh well with them.
I don't think that it's going to happen.
I know. Oh, you never get to meet them? You're just kind of floating in between?
No, it's just that they have hired a recruiting company. So they don't want their names out there. Like, they don't want people to know who they are that they're hiring for.
But isn't it weird? Like, everybody's having a hard time hiring. These people, McDonald's, all the restaurants.
Practically the same.
Everybody.
Like, when you really, really look at it. I mean, you McDonald's, Naples. There's a McDonald's in Naples.
So I'm sorry, though, they don't have kids, so you don't have that.
They do, but they're adult children.
Oh, so you don't have to worry about that. Boy, that sounds pretty nice. Can you imagine, like, you could just relax for a little bit and build up some savings because you don't have any expenses.
Couple of years doing this. And again, the thing that gets me is like, this is all crap you're doing right now, part-time. You're just not getting paid for it because you're cleaning your own house.
You get food?
Now
food too.
So now you're cleaning for somebody else. Like think about it. You're off at 5:00 and where are you? The beach.
Yeah, that sounds good.
This doesn't it doesn't sound bad.
It doesn't, but I think this is an opportunity for two people that maybe I'll do the Bahamas house. And then I'll stay there.
I would do the Naples one.
Yeah, something like that. We'll split it and then you just meet up when it's time to switch.
You know what? I love it. I don't like being hot, but here's the thing that I feel like I could get used to it.
Oh, yeah, your body will adapt.
I'd adapt, and pretty soon it would be like, when you have that friend that leaves and they like go to another country, whatever, they come back, they've lost like 80 pounds.
They look healthy.
And they have this weird glow about them, and you're like, I don't understand how you have that.
They're relaxed.
Yes. This could be it. Wow. Sign us up.
There's no fresh by date because it was spoiled when they made it. Worst of the Riot, RadioU.
You guys may not know it, but Nikki and I are going to Disney World tomorrow.
Oh, is that
surprise,
the day
Nikki?
I know, surprise! Had no idea.
We're not. But if we were...
What would we have to do?
I see here that both Disney World and Universal Orlando are no longer checking your temperature when you go in the park.
I wonder if that helps. Like, I wonder how long... Well, okay. I see like videos of lines to get in.
Yeah.
But that's been, I think, like Disneyland and some of the stuff there in California. But for Disney World, since it's been open for a while, I still don't think you can just go and try to get tickets. I think you have to have like a reservation still. So I'm curious how long like the line is to get in. Do you have to go through this whole big thing?
Oh, Universal Orlando? I don't know the answer to that. Sorry.
So maybe it'd make it faster if they don't take your temperature.
Yeah. That's starting with, they're going to stop doing cast members on May 8th, which is Friday. No. Today's Thursday?
Yeah, today's Thursday.
So Saturday. And then they'll stop with guests on May 16th. And so I imagine you're probably right. I'll bet you can get through the line a lot faster with that. The other thing I see here is that Universal Orlando Resort, so not the park, but I guess that would be the hotel. I've actually stayed there, believe it or not. They're reducing social distancing from 6 feet to 3 feet.
Ooh. Well, have you been to a place where sometimes it's like, good luck at 6? They were at 3 anyways.
They really were.
And that's not the hotel's fault. Like, that's just some people aren't as aware as they should be.
We didn't exactly build our public spaces to accommodate people standing 6 feet apart. I mean, like, it's on one hand, people don't care. The other, we didn't design for that.
So now
it's a mix.
They're going to have to take all the little circles, the little floppy things, and move them now 3 feet from each other instead of 6.
Whatever.
So you know where to stand.
Whatever. Sounds great. I'm so excited.
Well, it's nice to hear it. It's nice to hear moving towards being back to normal.
Yes.
And that's good.
Yeah. So, you know what? Just if you were thinking about going, but you just
wait till
can't,
after
you just
May
can't
16th.
stand to share a thermometer with so many people.
And you hate 6 feet, but 3 feet still sounds fine.
Boy, do we have news for you.
Then Florida in Orlando is the place you should be going.
Whee!
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, what I'm about to say may feel a little angry and mean, but I just...
Bear with them.
Just hold my hand and walk with me. Remember how we were like, love everybody? Everybody?
Here's the other side.
So they have released 2 photos, official photos, of the upcoming Game of Thrones prequel.
Yeah. Now, easy there.
Nikki,
is it because you just didn't care for Game of Thrones, all the other stuff?
I got to a point where it was just like, okay, everybody shut up about Game of Thrones already.
It had its heyday.
Just stop. All right? Like, you might as well, I can't say that out loud. Let's just say that there are places on the internet that service that kind of content already. I don't need you pushing it on me anymore. I don't want to hear about Game of Thrones. They have a dragon, and I'm rooting for those cousins to get together.
So when it ended,
half brother, half sister.
When it ended, Obi was actually quite happy.
I was like, "Thank you,
thank you for finishing it up."
Wrap it up.
And then I thought for a brief moment for Game of Thrones, they're like, "Oh, that's it. You know, we're not doing anything else." But then I think more with the beginning of the pandemic and stuff, and just like what can everybody bring back? Everybody always wants to just have, you know, they have a lot of money involved in Game of Thrones, and so they go then prequel, they go earlier.
Yeah, they have several projects coming that are Game of Thrones projects, you know, for the future.
Sure.
Even if they take place in the past, and
people were so mad with how it ended that I also feel like then they wanted to give them something else.
Yeah. Well,
people thought they were going to just redo that whole season.
I'm ready for it to stop, and it hasn't even started yet.
So now they're filming the other stuff.
Yeah. We got to hear about how so-and-so this and something that and a dragon.
Oh, it's not even airing too. So like you have such a long time.
Okay. And that's the thing is that I feel like, you know how you see those people that post that meme? They get really mad when Christmas is coming and they post that Game of Thrones meme where it's the Stark guy and it's like, Christmas is coming. Sure. And he's like staring off into the distance. That's how I feel about this. I just look off into the distance and it's the most distant, far off of clouds. And I look at it and it's just like, oh gosh.
Now that could be
Game of Thrones is coming.
a lot of the places where we get a lot of our news stories would cover it quite frequently. And it's like with the Walking Dead, like they would still do a recap of every episode. It was a lot.
Hey, you know what? Walking Dead didn't bug me as much. I don't know why, but Nikki and I have talked about it. It might be that oppositional defiance disorder because things kick in sometimes where I'm just like, I swear, I don't care how good it is. The next person that tells me about it, it's over.
Just can't do it.
I'm gonna smack you.
All right. Well, we remember to lay low on news about that show. Just so you don't have to get upset.
Like, did you know that the guy from Doctor Who? Yes, I know.
Giving every novelty food the publicity it so blatantly desires. It's The Riot on RadioU.
Off air, Nikki and I were talking. A new Game of Thrones, not the only thing that's coming. You guys may not know this, but Nikki's favorite book of all time. Persuasion.
I know you think it's Pride and Prejudice, but it's not.
It's not. And I actually read it because Nikki liked it so much.
I love the movie. There's a couple variations of it, a couple of versions, but it's one of the best.
Yeah. So Persuasion is the tale of a family where someone trips and falls and they go to the beach.
Bath.
Yeah.
They go to Bath.
Yeah, they do. And it contains what some people believe to be one of the single most romantic scenes in all of English literature. At the bar with the letter, right?
At the bar. Oh, you mean when he writes her?
Yes.
Yes. And then spoiler, I mean, it is from 1818, but just want to make sure.
Hey, listen.
The book, not the movies.
At 203 years.
If you've not read it. But yeah, you're right. The scene where he finally, confesses that he's still in love with her.
Some people, they say it like that's one of the most romantic scenes. And
now they're going to do a modernized version of it and ruin it for everyone.
Maybe. Yay! Okay, let's see. What are we didn't prep for this, but what are some other modernized Jane Austen movies?
Clueless. Yeah.
Do you feel like Clueless feels like a Jane Austen?
I haven't seen that in a while, but I think when you read it, then you do see the connection of it.
And that was Emma, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. So do we have any other?
I'm looking it up. I don't remember.
I'm trying to think if there is 10 Things I Hate About You is Taming of the Shrew, but that was Shakespeare.
That's not that. Yeah. Just looking.
So there will be this modernized retelling of it.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself skeptical, angry, or excited?
I'll take anything.
Whatever.
All I
Just give me something, please.
It's Mortal Kombat, Godzilla versus Kong. I haven't had a lot.
You know what? Don't act like Mortal Kombat doesn't count.
No, I know it does count, but I just haven't had a lot of Austen movies or just something that felt like that. So I don't mind. I'll take anything at this point.
You know what? Just subscribe to the Hallmark Channel. They're always pumping stuff out.
I actually felt I had that for one Christmas for a few weeks for the Hallmark Channel, and I felt overwhelmed because when you watch them all back to back, you really notice the formula, really notice. I couldn't keep watching them.
Yeah, but did you see their special Cinco de Mayo love movie yesterday?
What was that?
A small taco truck owner moves back from the big city to discover that her parents...
Are you just making this up? You're just making this up.
Maybe.
She needed persuading. You're just making things up.
Maybe I am. Maybe they should have thought about it.
I'm excited. It'll be something. Anything Austen, I just, set my little alerts. So when there's news.
What's the last Austen thing we got?
Emma.
The movie, right? And I watched that.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
I liked that.
I thought it was pretty good. It was well done. I mean, one of the things about it that was so well done is that by the time they hit a certain point in the movie, you really don't like her. And you know what?
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's it. She's supposed to hit a character arc where she changes. And so they do a great job of making her unlikable. Aww. And then you get to watch her unpack it. I thought it was really good.
This might not be normally what the show does, but who wants to take an hour or so and we'll watch some Jane Austen movies while you guys listen to music. Does that sound good? Order some food.
There's a time in life where I would have been opposed, but you know what? It was my friend Dave. This was early on in my career as a film watcher. He said to me, he's like, listen, you need to learn to appreciate things that you don't necessarily like. Mm-hmm. And that started with a viewing of the, I believe, 1995 version of Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah.
which is very well done.
That's a classic, too.
Yeah, yeah. Aren't you glad we took this time?
You know what? I feel like we talk about a lot of movies that maybe we don't end up caring about, but this whole couple of minutes has just really warmed my heart.
Feels good.
And I know what I'm doing when I get home from work today.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So last night, or I guess yesterday afternoon, I managed to do my curbside pickup on my Power Beats Pro headphones.
Yeah, you got your new headphones.
Love them.
Did you got a workout in with them?
You
got to try them on, which is a workout.
I sat on the back porch for a couple of minutes, actually for probably about half an hour, just listening.
So, that's low impact, but that's still a workout.
Well,
and you're outside.
I don't know. I mean, I was out. I don't know that I was working.
Just trying to make it feel better.
It was a rest out.
Yeah, that's it.
So I tried these new workout headphones on my rest out. And you know what? Here's what got me is that I normally do not like earbuds because, this was the thing that had me very hesitant about the AirPods Pro. And that is that all these earbuds, they want to do that tight seal with your ear.
Yeah.
And you guys know how I have sinus problems. Do you understand that your sinuses and your eustachian tubes that go from your ear into your throat to equalize pressure, they're all connected?
Yeah, you wouldn't have liked those.
So when you stick those things in and they're like, it hurts.
Even though the noise cancellation part of it's awesome.
It's great.
It's awesome, but that would kind of wreck you over.
No, but this is what I love about these things. I suppose I could probably change the tip and they might do more of a seal, but these fit, I felt like, fairly comfortably in my ear.
Yeah.
But they have those hooks, and so they hang basically on the outside of your ear. Great.
See, that's why I think you would have enjoyed the AirPods, because it doesn't have the seal. Like, it just is very comfortable in there.
Yeah. Now, from what I read, and I did a bunch of comparison shopping, and I didn't look seriously at the Samsungs or the Bose. And I know a lot of people had pitched those my way, and I looked at them. But the reading that I did with the AirPods and the AirPods Pro was that the consensus seemed to be that the Power Beats Pro did not sound as good as the AirPods Pro, but sounded better than the AirPods. So, which one's true? A lot of that really is subjective, but I thought they sounded really great. They came with a charge case. They're supposed to hold about a 9-hour charge.
Well, just don't lose them.
Which is pretty good. Oh, don't say that.
That's what happened. He lost his other headphones he was using for the gym, and so that made him get a new pair.
Now, some of my friends will hate me for saying this. I had the Jabra 65T, like whatever. They really do make great headphones. But those were like the AirPods Pro in that they sucked in your ear. Man, I like these Power Beats so much better.
Good. Well,
they're so much more comfortable.
Glad you got a new pair and you can pick it up.
And I'll tell you, if you don't mind different colors, when you're purchasing them, scroll through the colors, because I found that when I bought the red ones instead of the black ones, I saved, wait for it, $50.
That means they probably had way more reds because no one's buying those. So if you don't care about the color, then you can get a better price.
I suppose at some point I'm going to find out oh yeah, you don't know when you wear red Power Beats, it means blank. No.
You're gaining weight when you're in the gym. You don't lose weight.
I don't want to hurt anybody. I just wanted to save some money.
Well, that lure of saving the $50 was too great.
Come on.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's the Riot on RadioU.
There is a dark future realization that is out there waiting for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to go back to work.
You guys text us a lot, like your countdowns and stuff, and like how many days you have to go back to work, or how much notice you got from your place when you have to go back to work.
It is happening. And my general feeling is that basically August, September, when we get back in what will be the next school year.
August really seems to be the month.
They are just straight up like, hey, you're coming to work.
Yeah.
Okay?
Maybe not every day, but at least you have to start going back in.
Yesterday, Google made an announcement. Mm-hmm. They said, Google only has about 140,000 employees.
That's a lot. I mean,
I'm not saying it's not a lot, but I thought that number would be higher.
Sure.
Okay. And here's what they've said. 20% of those employees will be allowed to work from home permanently.
Okay.
60% will be required to be in the office at least 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
And then the other 20%, you're there all the time.
Man, that's the worst. If you're one of that category.
You know what, though? I'll bet you those 20 have been there the whole time.
Yeah, you're right.
They never did the stay home thing.
I was listening. I forget his name, but it was someone with an interesting take on. I know it's very convenient and everybody wants to work from home all the time, but the guy had a good point. He said everybody loses their drive a bit when there's no one else around them.
Yeah.
And it is good. It doesn't mean you want to have to go all the days of the week, but going in and checking in and being there sometimes is healthy when it comes to your work environment. But we just all got used to, well, not we, because we've been here, but everybody else got used to not having to go in at all. And it becomes a routine. You're used to it.
I will say, if you, as much as, okay, on the surface, it's like, why on this earth wouldn't you stay home every day? But I'm with Nikki. If you gave me the option, I would be like, hey, how about I come in 3 days a week?
A little guy, like checking in. Think of it that way.
2 days a week. What if you made it 2 days a week? I'll come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But, Monday, I couldn't be bothered.
And Friday, of course not. And Wednesday, it's probably better you don't.
Let's see. Last week, Amazon said you guys are back in the office this fall. And then Facebook is saying that they're reopening offices. They're going to be at 10% capacity this month.
Facebook
and then they're slowly ramping it back up.
Man.
And these are the companies, like Google was the one that it felt like they're just like, bring your bike to work. Just paint, play with Legos till you feel like working.
No, they want you to come back in to do that there.
Man, if Google is making you come back to work, the rest of us with the regular jobs, screwed.
If you don't do it too often, it's really interesting to still see even now. If you drive, like for us, we have so many large office buildings around us.
Yeah.
And if you go over there still during the day, they're practically empty. Like there's no one there. It'll be weird to see when it all returns because then people are going back out to eat. They're doing this and that. But there's still a lot of people at home until August.
It's anecdotal, but I'll say that I felt like once we crossed over into May, my morning commute is so much more crowded.
More people
than it
back.
used to be. Yeah. So much more crowded.
Well, we're sorry if you're getting the call or the email or the notification, but it seems like a lot of places are saying August into September.
Yeah.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than hell. The worst of the Riot podcast.
For the first time in 15 months.
It's been a while.
We have in studio.
15 months? It's just a little over a year. Do you think?
Nikki, February.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
February of 20.
All right.
Disciple visited us in here.
It's been a long time.
They were the last people.
So congratulations for being the first one back in.
This is exciting. I like that.
So we've got Brittany from the American Lung Association, longstanding friend of ours, and Nick, new friend, Delaware firefighter.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So they are testing out they're the first ones to use our new mics. We have these headphone mics thing. They look like they're emceeing a parade.
Yes. Snoopy is coming.
Well, they are with the American Lung Association for the Fight for Air Climb, which those have locations across the country. But for RadioU Ohio, for Columbus, yours is coming up very, very soon. And this is the first year that it's going to be outdoors to help make it, a COVID-friendly event. So you can do the Fight for Air Climb outdoors this time.
Now, Brittany, I saw you've already done at least one Fight for Air Climb, right?
I did. So I went down to Cincinnati and we were at the Red Stadium a couple of weeks ago.
Cool.
It was amazing. We, like Nikki said, we had to reimagine this event. So we had to go, we want to climb this year. Yeah. That was our goal. We wanted to climb. And how are we going to do it as safely as possible? So why not go to all of these amazing stadiums who also need support, because they've been shut down too.
Sure.
So we're able to do that and it's really exciting.
That is great.
Because the Fight for Air climb used to be a climb inside. In the cities, they'd pick a tall building, and then you'd use the stairs, and you'd go up the stairs. But obviously, that did not work with keeping everybody so close together. So for the Columbus one, that's June 3rd. That's going to be outside at Ohio Wesleyan at the university there for the outdoor stadium.
So, Nick, you are a Delaware firefighter. You are going to be climbing the stairs this year.
Yes, sir. We're very excited to have it in the city of Delaware this year. So our guys have went to a lot, downtown Columbus, different cities, different big cities. So it's nice to be able to have something back home where we serve. So we're pretty excited. Ohio Wesleyan's a great university. Delaware's a great city. So
for you guys, do you get to choose to participate? Is everybody doing it, or how does a team look for firefighters?
Yeah, so it's definitely a choice. I've been.
It sounds like you chose.
Yeah,
sure does.
Yeah, I'm definitely one that's a big advocate for it. I went to a numerous amount of ones, and we've had lots of our guys do it, but it's something different when it's in our city and our community. It's something we take a lot of great pride in being out in our community. So having the opportunity to do it, it's something that I think looks good for not only us but our city. If they look up and say, "Hey, we have," they see all of us. They see all of us on a daily basis, but seeing us not in an emergency setting is nice.
Sure.
Cool. We can get out, talk to people. But also we get a fundraise and give back.
Mm-hmm. So the firefighters, you guys wear the whole thing, all the outfit and stuff, the uniform.
Yeah. So most of our guys, I know we have some guys who are, not as motivated or not as wanting to do it, so they're not going to use as much gear, and we only have so much extra air packs.
I
that's
see.
going to be the limiting factor.
So it might not be exactly everything, but pretty close to it.
Yeah,
I feel like you've had some public relations training. Your word choice is excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, we just we don't have as much spare equipment, and then so it's going to be we can't really take people off duty to do it.
Sure, that makes sense.
Okay, that's a real nice way to pretend. Yeah, that's cool.
But no, we have almost 20 people on our team.
Yeah,
so
awesome, man.
It should be a good turnout.
Yay!
Awesome. So, Brittany, you I see you on Facebook. You've been training like crazy.
I have, and I've actually I've participated. I've already done the climb at Wesleyan.
Oh, have you?
So I have, and it is a challenge. I will not lie. It is definitely a challenge. I definitely felt it at the end.
Yeah.
But it is better than being in the stairwells.
It has to
It
be.
is.
It has to be.
Because you get air. I mean, it's hard in a stairwell.
And no dust, and no, you don't feel crammed because there is some claustrophobic, feeling when you're in that stairwell.
Yeah.
So it's so open. It's, you've got the breeze. It's nice to have the sunshine, even though we'll be climbing at night. So, we'll have it for a little bit, but it's just so nice to have that open air.
Oh, I had to have a breathing treatment the last 2 years.
You did the Fight for Air climb?
Yes, with the Fight for Air climb because the stairwell is rough. Man.
Well, you would train, say, on a stair climber to do the Fight for Air climb, to climb steps, but it's different than when you're actually climbing steps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you rush and you start off quick, and then you realize you got to pace yourself more, and it is a hard time breathing. That's the point of the event, to, remind people that people live their lives breathing with such difficulty that way. So it's raising money to help for the American Lung Association.
So run down your details for us again.
Okay. Well,
you remember.
I have them written down if you can't remember.
You should ask Nick to see what he knows.
Yeah.
I'll defer to Brittany on that one.
All right. So the evening of Thursday, June 3rd, we will be climbing up and down 888 steps. So it's actually 8 more steps than Rhodes Tower, too, guys.
Okay.
So you're getting 8
This is
more.
a bigger event.
Yeah, 8 more whole steps. But you also get a little jog around the track because the stadium, seating, the home and away side, it's separated. So it's not like, you're just in one group there. So you get a little jog around the track even, or a walk. If you need a breather, you can walk. And you're actually going to loop twice. So you're going to go up, down, around, up, down, and then around again. So, yes.
Oh, man.
So, and then, wait, I've got a cool thing, guys. So at dusk, we are doing what we are calling the twilight climb. It is the last climb of the night. So around 8:30, maybe a little later, a group of 50 we are only allowing 50 people in this grouping, get to climb at dusk under the lights. We're giving them glow sticks, which is really fun. And here's the kicker. You get to do double the steps. So if Nick, if you really want to do 1,700 steps, you could,
it seems like Nick wants to.
Yeah, we've had a couple people reach out and questioning the half-mile walk that's involved in the stair climb.
All right.
Like, I want to do more steps.
Yes.
So
we're so excited.
I mean, great idea.
And we're just so excited to have the event back, and then people being safely able to go and still help raise money and support for great organizations like the American Lung Association. Still go out and do things and be active, but do it in a safe way.
Right.
So you're going outside. No more stairs inside.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us about it, and good luck, Nick, Brittany, and everyone else.
Yeah, everybody's involved. So you can get more details if you go to RadioU.com. Just go to the Ohio section, but find out if there's a Fight for Air climb in your area if you're listening someplace different.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Thanks again to Brittany and Nick for coming in, joining us.
It's so nice to have people in again. From the Fight for Air climb. Again, details on that, head over to RadioU.com. While you're there, check out our brand new Phantom Envy. We've got a new shirt, which you can see through the shop section at RadioU.com.
What was hard for me was I wasn't sure how to physically interact with them.
Oh, because you can't like handshake and stuff. Or
well, that was the thing. Is
close.
Like I let them in at the door. I put a mask on, let them in at the door. They came in. They took their temperatures, and I had them sit down. I brought them into the studio, held the door open for them. But then normally Nikki and I would go over and show them where to put their mic, how to put their headphones on. But instead we were like, and then you put it on here.
Lots of hand gestures.
Yeah, we had plexiglass up between us. And then when I met Nick, I extended my hand to shake his hand just out of instinct.
Yeah.
Then he put his hand out. And then I thought, oh, no, what if he's only shaking my hand because I offered to shake his hand, but he's actually not comfortable and doesn't want to do it. So I converted to a fist bump on the way.
Oh.
But Nikki.
I mean, you should have done the elbow thing.
I was going to say last week I had somebody that I tried to fist bump and they were like elbow. And at one point I'll have to say, I was just like, you know what? Let's just not touch it all.
I think that's what you should have tried to convert it to.
But it just feels wrong.
Well, we're just not used to having people back in. It's going to take a few times to get used to it.
Yeah.
And still following all the guidelines and suggestions. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
It's weird, but they talk about the love languages. One of my love languages really is touch. Like I communicate acceptance and whatever by touching people. Not inappropriately.
Just a hug.
On the shoulder, a hug, something. A handshake, something. That I always do that. And you can't do that anymore. So my life is a loveless, barren wasteland.
But thanks again to Nick and Brittany for coming in.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I want us to get used to having more awkward interactions.
Yay! Bring it all back.
Bring it back, baby. Bring it back. Let's do this thing. So you can grab more details, as we said, RadioU.com on the upcoming Fight for Air climbs that are happening not just in Ohio, but around the United States.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Who wants to be part of the problem?
Yay!
Who wants to make a lot of people mad?
Oh, I don't really feel like that.
Especially as we approach Christmas.
Yeah, well, what do you mean?
Well, here's what I mean. Nintendo is out there. And you'll remember that about a month ago, they were like, hey, we're predicting Nintendo Switch shortages.
Yeah. Is that the same chip problem that's in everything? It's this part that's
it's just finally starting to hit. It's
hitting where there's these lack of these chips. And I mean, it's affecting car sales. It's affecting console stuff. If there's anything that you want, it's affecting cheese. No, it's affecting everything. It's these chips that they just can't get enough of.
It's a global semiconductor shortage, they're saying. So it's basically, you're like, whoa, why does Nintendo need what Sony makes? No. Go all the way down the line. They all use some of the same raw materials to go off and make their thing. And it's that raw material where the shortage is. It's crazy. Well, Nintendo was out there saying, a month ago, they're like, yeah, probably going to run out. We're going to do our best, but whatever. And then today they're out there saying that the Nintendo Switch has now sold more than the Game Boy Advance. Mm-hmm. And they say that if sales continue this way, it will outsell the Wii next year.
Yeah.
So it will become almost their highest selling console of all time.
Now, Tom just texted, are they running out of potato chips? It's not that type of chip.
Yeah, different chips.
Though the other sounds delicious.
I will tell you.
And I would like that with a Switch right now.
Do you remember we did an article in which they said that potato chips actually are? Because
potato chips, yeah.
There was some trouble with some of the potatoes that are used in McDonald's French fries and potato chips.
Because of a drought with the mountain water that normally comes down in Idaho. So, yeah, there is still a potato chip problem, but that's not what we're talking about here.
Different chips, guys.
Listen, there's a problem with everything right now. Just take your pick.
Here's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
You gotta look long term. Do you want to be one of the scumbags? You can go out there. You can buy yourself a stack of Nintendo Switches.
Oh, don't do it.
Sit on them until November.
Yeah.
And then
make some money that way.
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
I know you could, but it doesn't mean we should.
I agree with you. I'm not contesting that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just telling you.
Fight it, guys.
Wait, do you hear it?
See, to us,
that's opportunity knocking.
But doesn't opportunity knocking just sound like more work to do? Like, I just don't want to do that right now. If you want a Switch, just try to get a Switch. If you don't want one, don't buy any.
Nikki,
there you go.
Remember we were talking about those people who they're like their whole life is the buying and reselling?
Yes. Gosh, that must be so exhausting.
I don't know. You know what? They probably work 3 hours a day.
No, I bet you it's always like at least going on in the background.
You think so?
And they're always trying to talk to people, make a deal. Like it's probably very exhausting.
You know what? You could be right. Like maybe it is that way. I don't know. I just know this. I just hearing them talk about this like right now, mm-hmm. I'm telling you, no crystal ball, no whatever. I see the future. And this Christmas,
Ebenezer,
there's not going to be a PlayStation. There's not going to be an Xbox. There's not going to be a Switch.
There'll be a tree shortage. There's no more peppermint. Like it's just going to be the worst.
There's no wrapping paper. There's
nothing to wrap in the first place. You know what? Let's not spoil it. Let's wait until we get to Christmas and we'll then be excited about the lack of everything else. Still a lack.
I think it's one of those like, you better learn to love what you got, son.
Because you're not getting anything new anytime soon.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's just be content and happy with what we have.
We're working on it.
You don't need to get a new one anyways.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got their stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
That is...
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
I think I love this story. I love this a lot. I love the video that goes with it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Andrew Brenner, he's a state senator in Ohio.
Dude, he's one of my Facebook friends.
What?
Yeah, he is.
Wow, is that a thing?
I know it is. Yeah, I see him on there.
So he...
what did you do?
He got a Zoom background of his house.
Yeah.
And he used it as a Zoom background on his phone, and he's clearly driving while he's in the Zoom call.
Like he's got his seatbelt on, and then he's looking left and right, kind of like, when you pull up to a stop sign or something, or if you're just turning, and it just looks so funny because you're like, you're not at home.
Hilarious.
He's driving. That's not the best.
So it said that he kept turning his camera on and off repeatedly, and some people say it was to disguise where he was calling from, which is, probably true.
It was a 13-minute long meeting, and those were meetings with him trying to disguise that he's in the car.
If you have to join a Zoom meeting in your car, you turn the camera off, you just run it through the Bluetooth,
just
you're
do
done.
Audio. That's all you have to do.
Like, you're done. That's not illegal.
Maybe they need video, or maybe it's something with that, or you just felt like it had to have it. I love that so much. You're just looking left and right. It's like you're driving and the seatbelt.
It's awesome because it's just so clearly what's happening.
Well, at first you're like, why didn't you take your seatbelt off? But then he would have been in more trouble if he was driving without it. So at least he kept that part on.
Oh my gosh, man. So he needed to put his seatbelt on and then like a coat over his seatbelt.
Oh yeah,
something.
that would have hit it better.
Yeah. He just wasn't expecting anyone to notice.
Well, how could you not notice?
Well,
how could you not?
Let's be honest, Nikki. How likely are you to watch I'm like, watch this Zoom call. Like,
it only is so noticeable because, like, if you pick a Zoom background, if you're moving a lot, then there's so much distortion around like your body. It can't keep up with it. And when you keep watching the video, it'll cut out and then you'll see him in the car, like totally. And then the background will start again.
It's so good.
All right. Well, that was fun to watch.
When I first started the Zoom thing, I played around with the backgrounds, and after a while, I was like, this is just dumb.
It is what it is. What's behind me is what's going to happen.
I just quit. I gave up on it. I was like, y'all know I'm in my basement. Look. Whee!
He says he wasn't distracted, that he was paying attention to the driving and listening to it. He said he had 2 meetings that were back-to-back in separate locations. So he'd been on other calls, numerous calls while driving, and he was paying attention, but he was in the car.
All right. Well, if you say so, Senator.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
What day is it?
It's Thursday.
Okay.
We still have chances and opportunities today and tomorrow, and then the weekend.
Okay. Well, you know what? Here's what I was looking at. Yesterday, there was an announcement made about Loki.
Yeah, they're changing it.
They're changing it up
to a Wednesday.
So that
what do we think about that?
Well, I'll tell you what. That means that with today being Thursday, Nikki, we would have already seen the latest episode.
So it's being pushed a few days earlier. So what is it? June? Let me get the calendar. Is it June 9th then it comes out?
I believe that is true. They announced that they are going from Fridays to Wednesdays.
I wonder what their feelings with that were.
You know what? I was kind of wondering the same thing. Like, obviously, that's a choice.
Yeah.
But
like, do they think they could get more by hitting like a Wednesday, Thursday crowd? Is it too much to want like people to have like Saturday and Sunday, like they're already busy? So you're more likely to watch a show maybe on a weekday than you are on a weekend?
I would, like, this is just my first guess. They release these shows on Friday. The people that do publicity for shows and whatever, they got to stay up until 3 a.m. Eastern, midnight Pacific, watch the show, write the content to get it out there Friday morning. This way, they put that on Wednesday and they get 2 days of news cycles.
2 more days.
That will give them publicity for their content that they were kind of not getting. Because Saturday and Sunday, even though people are still writing things on the internet, it's not the same.
You stop looking at it over the weekend, and then you have to wait till Monday, or you miss people's thoughts on it. So, yeah, it's a better drive to get everybody else to start watching the show.
Yeah, now, by stop looking at it, Nikki means that you look at your phone 398 times a day instead of 400 times a day.
And you're only you're only at Instagram and TikTok, but maybe you're away from news sites that you use to fill up the work time during your work day. You don't do that on the weekends.
Now, is that the real reason why? No idea. Who
knows?
We don't know. That's pure speculation, but
they're going to do it. So Loki will be on Wednesdays for Disney Plus.
Yeah, works for me. Like, what did you say, June 8th? 7th?
Sorry, I just
9th?
Closed it out.
Like, it's basically the first full week of June.
Yeah, June 9th. Yeah. It looks really good. I'm excited. I'll watch that one.
When they announced it, was not that interested. When they showed the trailer, it was like, that looks great.
That'll do.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
It has a really interesting vibe to it.
Well, I need something because it's shocking how little I watch anything on Disney Plus. Still have it, but it's just shocking. So I would like something to be able to watch.
Yeah, they released The Bad Batch this week, and I still haven't watched it yet. The first episode was like an hour and 10 minutes, and I know that I should be excited about it, but when I saw it, I was like, I don't have that.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the Worst of the Riot on RadioU.
You know what? Today is National Day of Prayer. So that means that you go get a free prayer if you're praying.
Is there a free Krispy Kreme donut today?
There probably is.
I don't think there is.
You show up and pray, you can have a donut. Krispy Kreme's, you're so spot on. They're always running something, right?
Which is why you should be offended if there's not.
Right. I'm so offended by your lack of support for National Day of Prayer.
Well, you can get one probably every day.
You're probably right. So it's one of those things where I'm going to say this, but understand it. It's not a big deal. And what I mean is that it's not a big deal to talk to God. You might hear National Day of Prayer and think like, well, that doesn't include me. That's for, other people or whatever. Do you know that you can talk to God every single day? Jesus loves you. He wants to have a relationship with you. And here on National Day of Prayer, if you've never talked to him, what a great time to start. And the other thing I'll tell you, there's a lot of people think like, oh, you know, I can pray for our country, or I could pray for the sick kids at Children's Hospital, but like I can't pray for me. Actually, you can pray for all of that. You know what? You should pray for those kids in Children's Hospital. You should pray for the country you live in, that they'd live at peace and do well and be just and all those things. But you know what? You can also pray for you today. You can pray for the stuff that's going on in your life. Sometimes when we talk about prayer, it becomes this big thing. And sometimes you've heard people pray and they're like, they change their voice. I've heard people get like real high pitched and whiny in the weirdest
it's really
way,
long
to like really deep, or using words they would never use in conversation. And you know what? I'm not here to criticize anybody. If that's how they want to pray, like, hey, that's fine. But I'm telling you that if you don't feel like you fit in some of those categories, that's okay too. You can just talk to God like you would talk to me or Nikki or your friend or whoever. Just plain out do it. Now, if you don't know Jesus, you're like, well, you know, you don't know what I've done or where I've been. Listen, God can and does forgive you for anything and everything. And if you want to start a relationship with him, just say, Jesus, I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I want you to forgive me. I want to be friends with you. And that's a great place to start. When you become friends with God, you'll find out there's so much more to him than just a friend. He's huge and yet also very small. It's weird and it's awesome.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
Feel free to say hi. Feel free to pick us up a cake pop at Starbucks and drop it off.
I saw the picture. I really like cake pops too, but I know why that probably happened. Because they're all frozen for so long. Like the cake pops at Starbucks are not freshly made. They're not made on site. They're not anything. They're just frozen and like shipped in. And you could tell something probably unfroze the wrong way or froze the wrong way. And someone uploaded a pic of the inside of a cake pop, and that's mold in there. That's a lot of mold. No question about that.
It's absolutely loaded with mold.
And that's the one I get. It's the birthday cake pop.
It is. What I thought was funny is that, like, kudos to them for noticing, because, like, if I just look at the picture, I'm like, oh, that's probably supposed to look like that.
Well, a lot of people, if you're bold with your cake pops, you can just eat that like in one bite, or you don't look at it. You're not examining the inside of it, but this person did, and that's when they noticed the spots of mold throughout it.
Okay, pause. How many bites on your cake pop, Nikki?
I could totally do one or two.
Because I'll just tell you this right now. I've watched Nikki drink a drink from Starbucks.
Oh, you got to tell everybody that?
Yeah, I do. I'll be on my second sip, and Nikki will be like, found the bottom.
Hey, mine comes with a lot of ice, and that's their fault. That's on them. You don't get iced drinks. I do.
It doesn't matter.
And it's all ice. All right. And I'm too embarrassed to say light ice. I'm too embarrassed to say light ice, because then they'll be like, well, you need the ice to make the drink properly. But we all know that's just so you get less drink.
Man, that's an Eric move right there. That's his power move. He'll always go through the drive-through and be like, I wanted this, no ice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because then it'll stay longer without being compromised with the water.
He's not on board with them pouring that ice in your drink.
So I haven't heard if there's been a response from Starbucks about the moldy cake pops, but this is at least the one.
Yeah, I do love this one response. No, I just ate one yesterday while driving and didn't bother to look.
None of us look at it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like, for me, a Starbucks cake pop, if I'm just so careful, I can maybe get 3 bites.
But they're so good.
They're so good.
So delicious.
They're so good. And so
it's the mold. We didn't know that's what makes them so good.
I would love for them to come back and say that, like, friend, sit down. It's always been the mold.
It's always been in there.
It's always. You've heard of cake molds? Where do you think that came from?
Oh, my goodness.
Come on.
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
Look, you guys know I love video games, but I love some of the stuff that surrounds them. Like, I think half of my love for it is just the tech, like watching the tech work and understanding it. And that's the kind of stuff I really get into. And some of the business things surrounding it are fascinating too. A couple days ago, we talked about the ongoing lawsuit between Epic Games, and they are the ones that make Fortnite, and Apple, Well, here's what's fascinating about this. Because it's a trial, it's public record, and they're just laying bare all kinds of stuff.
Sometimes the stuff that you think not just that they wouldn't, but that Apple wouldn't really want to be out there. A lot of the news that you always wondered.
So you knew Epic Games is bringing in to testify?
Who?
Microsoft.
How come?
Because, here, the big court case is this. You buy an iPhone. Mm-hmm. There's only one way to put software on your iPhone. Unless you jailbreak it or whatever. But
we're not
that's
saying
not
that.
what we're talking about. I'm saying officially, there's one way, and that is through the iOS App Store. Period. That's it. Well, Microsoft has been trying to bring xCloud to that, meaning that you are able to stream games to your phone and play them through that app. Mm-hmm. Well, Apple's like, nah.
Nah, bro.
Nah.
You don't get to.
Because the way that works is you subscribe through Microsoft, then you would download the app.
They don't want you to do that. They want it to be you subscribe if it's through them, through Apple.
Right. So you would download the xCloud app, then you would subscribe through Apple, and Apple would get 30% of that subscription just funneled back to them.
Sure.
And so Microsoft got out there and had to testify in court and is like, yeah, they wouldn't let us in. So we had to do this workaround. Apple's response is like, hey, have you guys seen how good this works?
It's our workaround.
Oh, it's
Who gets to be the one from Microsoft? Like, hey, you get to go do this case today.
Well, the thing that's interesting about it is, or one of the other things that's interesting about it, I don't know who was there from Microsoft, but they ended up saying that, like, yeah, they essentially admitted they don't make any money on console sales. They were basically like, Xbox kind of came out. They're just
Microsoft said that?
Yeah, like, hey, we don't make any money on the Xbox. We're selling the Xbox at a loss. They did not say it exactly, but if you go through the language, they pretty much admitted to that, and that they make their money on game sales and not on the console itself.
So they just have to watch, because now that game sales are so less physical game sales, but more like, you're downloading it from this store or from that place, or you're just playing it through that. They need to make sure they get as much of the same amount of money as they used to when it was a physical copy.
Yeah, it is like... This is a lot of people. I feel like these were
fighting.
It feels like these were open secrets. Like, well, yeah, of course this and of course that. But now they're having to be like, yeah, it's true. Yeah, we did that.
Yes, Your Honor. It's all under the court.
It's real. Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just keep finding out more as they keep doing that lawsuit between Epic and Apple. And the news was that they called Microsoft in, and there's more secrets that are being spilled.
That's crazy to me. Like, Microsoft is testifying for Epic against Apple. It's not even mom and dad fighting. It's like the whole extended family is getting in on this.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
I want to smear it all over my body.